Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon to you that have joined me now. Thokozani, Lisedi, Kamaku. Good afternoon, my family out there. Good afternoon, my friends. Good afternoon, my community. Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. Allow me today to come out to talk about the communication with our ancestors. I have been asked many a times. People say we don't know how to communicate with our ancestors. It's not a difficult thing. It's not a train smash. It doesn't need a degree or diploma to know this. It's just communication with your spirit guides, your ancestors, the God of our lands, the God of our ancestors, the God and goddesses of our land. There are so many ways on how we communicate with our ancestors. There's so many ways. There's no one particular way of communicating with our ancestors. My name is Sheila Mbele-Khama. They call me Rosie. I'm the daughter of Amabele Ongobo. I'm daughter of Abo Khadebe. You are warmly welcome. You are welcome. I've taken this opportunity this afternoon to welcome you, to assist you in the journey that you are traveling. I may not know all. I may be the daughter of the land and Isangoma. This is what I would share with you from my point of view, what I know. Good afternoon, Thokozampo. Thokozampo, warmly welcome, and welcome all that will be joining us. This afternoon, that I've taken this moment, this time, to share with you what is it when we talk about communicating with our ancestors. A disclaimer on this: there is no evil in speaking to your mother, the past mother. If you had a mother that has passed on, whatever family that you have, your spirit, there is no demonic thing. There's nothing like that. This is a communication from within. You know, it's something that you have to do so that you are able to understand yourself, so that you understand to reconnect with yourself. I welcome you. I welcome you to this time in my space, in the space where I normally sit with my mother. Warmly welcome, Ekemini. Warmly welcome, Africa, as you join in. Kindly, again, I would request a respect during this time that I engage with you, that I try to share what I know in terms of communicating with your ancestors, communicating with the land spirit, communicating with different spirits of elements. Because if we do not do that, if you do not do it, I'm not sure whom are you communicating with. I am a spirit being. You are a spirit being. And when we communicate, you know, with one another, we are communicating as spirits. I might be in this physical body, but you need to communicate with the other lands where you're coming from. You cannot not communicate with ancestors where you're coming from. So I would like to share with you on how you do it, on my knowledge, on how I know as Isangoma. From all these years, I was taught how to communicate with spirit when I was little. You know, I was almost 5 years, but it's something that was done at home. But the first time that I was taught how you put an incense, I think I was around 5 years, when my grandmother ensured that I understand what is this and how you do it and why you do it. Okay? So I would like to share with you, if you allow me. But in any way, because I already came out to say I want to assist you on this journey, because it is all our journey. We are here as spirits. We are here as ancestors that are living today. You are an ancestor. I am an ancestor. When you pass to another land again, where you go back, your great children, your children will be calling you an ancestor. So you have to learn how you communicate with your own lineage that you have passed. Okay? I welcome you all. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Most High, the God of our land, the God, the Most High, that has channeled us this moment, that has ensured that one is here at the moment. I would want to thank the God of my ancestors, whomever the words that you call the God of your ancestors. But I would like to call Umvelingangi. I would like to call upon Unomkhubulwane, Umfazi omabele amade oncelisa ngaphesheya komfula. I would like to call upon the spirit Somlenze Munye, ukhokho wokhokho bethu. I would like to appreciate this time for allowing me to be here. I would like to call upon the spirit esiqhamuke eMpumalanga, la okhokho omkhulu baqhamuka ngokwelanga livele ekseni. Ngibonge ngikhanyiseleke ngawo amathonga aqhamuke lapho. I would like also to call upon the spirit of Inyakatho, Intshonalanga, Iningizimu, phezulu esibhakabhakeni, phansi emhlabeni nelingaphakathi lami as a spirit, and all those that reside in me, all those that reside on top of my head, and all those that have channeled me, and all the spirits known and unknown that they've requested that I should be here this time. I call upon all the spirits of the mountains, all the spirit that lives on top and inside the mountains, all the spirit of the caves. I'm calling upon all the spirits in Popoma. I'm calling upon all spirit that resides in Popomeni, Ematanyini, Emifuleni, Emalwandle. I call upon all the spirits of our land, where we get our plants from. I call upon all the spirits of our animals. I call upon all the spirits Zamagugu, Elizwe, Lagiti. I call upon the spirit of the diamond, gold, all the spirits, Zamagugu, of all minerals that we use. I call upon the spirit of the sun, the spirit of the moon, the spirit of the stars. I call upon all those spirits. May I humble myself for allowing me to be here, to be able to share how I do my communication with the spirits of our land. I call upon all the orishas of our land, all the deities of our land. I call upon all the ancestors that I know or unknown. I call upon all the queens of our land, all the mothers of our land, all the aunts, all the grandmothers of our land that have gone, abahambile bangaphambili kwethu. I would like to call upon all the spirits of our kings, the princesses. I would like to call upon all the spirits that perished in our land. We do not know where they are, but their spirits live on. Their spirits lived between you and me. Their spirits are residing. They've called us to this time. It is a calling to be here. I'm not here to just play. I'm not here to visit and play. I'm here because I was requested to be here. I'm here on earth with a particular purpose, like you. You have been called back for a particular purpose, a great purpose that the Most High has sent your ancestors to ensure that you are protected by your guiding spirit, that you are here. I call upon all those spirits to guide us today. Where I have faltered them, I say, but I call upon all the spirits of Amandau, Amanzunzu, Amanono, Amakosi, Abalozi, all the spirits that I know. I call upon the spirit of all the orishas that I may know, all the orishas of our land, all the orishas that I have come across, all the orishas that I have crossed their path, that have visited me. I call the spirit of Oya, the god of the air, the god of Usivunguvungu. I want to call upon the spirit of the water, Oshun, Ukoko, Umamo Muhle, Inzala Yabantu. I want to call upon the spirit of Yemaya and Olukun, Abahleli Phakathi Emalwandle, Omamiyata. I want to call upon those spirits, all of them. I want to call up spirit of Uobatala, Indwange Mhlophe, Khanyayo Tikwa. I want to call upon all the spirits, and the spirit of Shango, the colors that I wear, the red and white. I want to call upon that spirit to come. I want to call upon the spirit of Vredenberg that I'm wearing as a protection sign from the land where they come from, that they needed me to do that. I call upon those spirits. Without further ado, allow me to greet you and say, you are warmly welcome. You are welcome in my space. I took this time to assist you to say I use different things in calling ancestors. I do this. It's a life. It's my life. I live like this. I do it every day. I do it whether it's any entambama, whenever I find my time. I'm in communication with myself, with my ancestors every time. There's no moment where I'm not in commune with my ancestors, with myself as a spirit, and my chi, my guiding angels, zizonke. So I call upon all those spirits. Kubalulekile that we call upon our spirits. It is very important that all of us you join in. All those that I'm adding, I've added a lot of people to join in because I see to add you. I've already added you. Warmly welcome, Paul, again, Spencer. I'm not sure we are saying bring them on camera. I'm not sure what you want me to bring, but I'm saying this is some of the things that I use to call upon my spirits, my guiding spirits. I have a water spirit, I've got a land spirit, I've got different types of spirits that have visited me. So I use this one to call upon the spirits every morning or whenever, even if I sing, because I love singing. So I call upon them like that, okay? I call upon them every time. So it will depend on whether I'm singing or I'm doing whatever, but I call upon like that. As I've already done to say how I call upon my ancestors in the morning. I always shared with you that when I do call upon my ancestors, normally I'll wake up in the morning. I wake up around 5. That's my daily routine. Around 5, whether I'm at home or I'm not home. But I wake up around that time. It's the time that I wake up. You know, if I slept late. What I do, I would wash my hand with a soap. I wash my hand like this. I'm okay. And I'll wash myself. You know, I wash myself, I would wash my face, you know, and I wash all the hot places because I want to go to the shrine. But sometimes I take the full bath, I'll go and take the full bath. Hey, I'm sweating out. When you speak about ancestral thing, my body just become hot. It just become hot. So I will go to the shrine. It's not far. It's in the yard. There are almost 4 shrines in my yard. There is one that is the holder of the house. You know, it's on the other side. It's a tree that has been planted when I first entered this house. There's a big tree at the other side. That tree was planted as an ancestor that holds the energy of the whole house. Okay, it was planted then. Then there's another tree that is planted on the other side. Is the tree that I use for initiation, iganzela. So there is not only one ganzela, there is a ganzela this way, there's a ganzela on the back. These are trees. We call them amaganzela as a grounding space of ancestors. These are trees that are in my yard. Then when I go out, it's either I go to the bigger shrine, which I'm always in that shrine where I consult. Those that come and visit me, they know where that shrine is. There is also a shrine where I'm sitting. It's inside the house. It is my mother's space, you know, okay? So I use it, I created this space as a shrine, but because I still need to be mothered. So my mother's family, they reside with me inside. It's not far from my bedroom, but it's just here. It's in the house. Outside, there is a bigger space again that it's enclosed, and there is that tree up. There is another big tree when you enter the yard, which was planted as well. So we almost have 3 trees that are spirits that reside in this yard. So I will go to the shrine, okay? When I go to the shrine, the first thing, I'm just a child. I'll just go in like any child, switch on my lights, switch on, whether switching on electricity, and I'll go in. There's another shrine where I'm just going by to take whatever that I want to take. And I would have said, Thokozan Bokokomkulu. I just went like that, like a small child. Thokozan Bokokomkulu. This is what makes me, I'm not formal when I go Msamo. I do not go formal. I'm just myself. After I've taken full bath, I will be ensuring that I'm barefooted, okay? When I go to the shrine, it's just me. And I'll say, Thokozan Bokokomkulu, and I get in, and I beat my hand, and I'll go to the other space. Okay, load shading, say I'll go to the other space where ancestors will be sitting on the other side. Okay, let me fix this one. Yeah, let's not shading, but it's fine. Oops, the light is too high. Okay, so I'll go on the other side, and when I reach that side, the first thing that I will remember, okay, I'm here ukuzopahla. We call it ukphahla thina ekuseni, but these are my prayers. But I will say I'm here ngizopahla. So what do I need? What do I need to pass? So I will go in and find, I know where impepper yami is. This is impepper, but I buy rolls, you know, roll. It's cheaper when you buy a roll. But if you buy it like this, it's quite inexpensive because you can get it very expensively. So I just need happily for this purpose. So I normally buy a roll. So I would go in and take a roll, you know, so there's a roll somewhere in that shrine. So when I go inside the shrine there, now I want to pass. So I'm already preparing myself. So I will then go and take amakhandlela. All these are in the other shrine. They are not in the main shrine where I want to go and pasha. So I go in that one. I take this. So I take impepper. Impepper, it's an incense that we use for ukupasha. Those that are in South Africa, they will know we use impepper. Those that are using pepper, others may not be using impepper, so we use impepper. So I'll take impepper because there's a pot ready in my shrine to assist me, okay? I take impepper. I've already said, guys, I take impepper. Don't say I should bring it in close to the camera. It's already close to the camera. This is impepper. This is impepper. You'll find impepper in the multi market. Go to the multi markets, you'll find impepper. It's sold there. We sell it. Those that are still basesemakaya, they are able to but Tina, because we are in towns like in Gauteng, so we go to multi market to buy impepper. Now I have impepper. I have my candle. Okay, I'm preparing myself to go to pray. Okay, this is something that I do every day. It's either I take 7 or I take 2. Why I take 2? My mother's side, my father's side. So I take 2 candles most of the time. So I use white most of the time, unless I've got an issue that I want to discuss now, that really it's bothering me, or it has been bothering me and I need to speak to my ancestors about this issue, or something has threatened my life, you know. So of course they know that something has threatened my life. So, but now officially, I want to tell them to say, no, something has threatened my life. I do not know what is happening. Okay. So I will then take a different color, which may be red. Okay. I take the red candle when my life is threatened. But if it's not threatened every day, I will ensure that I take candle. Guys, it becomes cheaper when you buy a box of these things, because if you buy one is expensive. You need to light, you need the air. I said this is Oya because I need intutu, okay, to communicate. I need ikandlela, umlilo, so that I ensure that there is a fire element. Ooh, everything is going upside down. You know, there is a fire element, okay? So I use this too. I'll go in, and also I'll have a sniff. I may not smoking a sniff, okay? But I still need a sniff to communicate. This is the plant. It's a plant. Those that knows Isleaf, South Africa, Zimbabwe, the ones that are very close, that are using, I think Africa as a whole, or the whole world, we may be using sniff. So this is sniff. This is sniff. So it's a sniff that you use. Okay. So I'll be preparing. I already have a pot that I've put in pagulo. It's maybe similar to this one. Okay. But I'm using a black pot, a very bigger pot, you know, a steel. I'm using that. So you may use this one, okay, for putting incense, you know. Either sometimes you may use 2. It's either you use 1, moso joyele, when we are used to, or you use only 1. But if I use 2, the other one will be off my father's side, the other one will be off my mother's side. Why do I do that? Sometimes you find that my parents were never married, but I still need to speak to them. And you find that sometimes there were fights amongst them, but I still need to speak to them. Okay. So I normally use this one for my father's side, for my mother's side. When all is well, after some time, so and have joined them, so you may use one. Okay. It's not only that incense that I use. I also use sticks. I use sticks as well. I use sticks. These are sticks. If I use them joint most of the time, I use this one and I use this one. So it depends. It may be easier if maybe one gets this quickly, but this one, it's normally indigenous, what we use in the country. Okay. So I would not only use that one. Now I've got impepper, I've got amakhandlela, whatsoever. There is water that is always there. These are elements that I'm showing you what I use every morning. Every morning, there is water in my shrine. It's always there. But the water is in the dish, efananale, enamel dish. It's in this dish, which is an enamel dish, my water. So there is a water that stays in this, because I will drink this water and also leave it there, you know, or take it after I drink it. I'll go outside and wash the dish, and the dish. After I've done another ritual outside, then I'll again pour water and go in and still take it back where I found isija. You need isija. Isija, I use it for amanzi, water. I use isija for amanzi because this is how we create holy water. This water will be holy because this is an ancestral water. So you need that holy water. This is what I do every day, guys. It's what is there in my shrine every day. Others, it's optional. Others may use msebenzisa udaga olbovu or udaga olumhlophe. It's optional. It's optional, but for me, it is a must. It came to me that I use this every day. I use it. So others may not using it. Okay. So as I said, that there is not a train match that you have to use izinto ezifanayo, something that are the same as mine. You may not. It depends on itonga lakho likutumelani. This, it's called mpemba. This imbola, or it's the one that we put around our face. You know, it's the ancestral ways of seeing things. Others are calling it in zoo. In other areas is the one that you can just put maybe around yourself or just put around the face. Okay. When we do different rituals, this is what normally we do. It's either we put around the face or you put it maybe here around your eyes, so that now I want to see, I want to communicate with the ancestors. You know, they may able to identify. I could see things that people cannot see. When you are in trouble, I always use this to communicate with ancestors. Together with this, sometimes I join them together, but sometimes I separate them. It depends on what is needed at the time that I need to communicate with ancestors. I hope it's understandable, whomever that is listening. Kenzani, good afternoon. As I said, this is how, you see, I've already put it there. It's something that I do. Use it. I'll show you how I use it, but I'm showing you the items that I use for embed. For communicating with my ancestors. I use the other one. I had, this is another dish. This is the bigger dish, it's for water, but I will also have this dish. It's the smaller dish. It has impuphu. It has mili ngaphakathi. Inempuphu. This has impuphu. You know, it has a mili. This is impuphu. Impuphu le, it's not that what I was showing you. This is impuphu. So I also use impuphu for communication. It's either you can use impuphu combined with water, or just use impuphu alone when you speak to your ancestors. But remember, you need to have a sacred space for your ancestors. You need to have a space dedicated for your ancestors. It depends again on what I'm talking about, whether I'm at home or in Semfuleni, or I'm in the mountains, or I'm on the land, you know, it depends on where I communicate with ancestors. Because I also have amanye amadlozi, other ancestors that may not of South Africa, guys. We may be saying I'm born in South Africa, but idlozi lakho may not coming from here. But I also recognize the chi, my guardian ancestors that are going with me. You know, it should be born into our mind that if the body has been born here, it does not mean that I'm off here. Idlozi, you can't tell which will be up, okay? I'm born in South Africa, but amadlozi may not off here. Yes, there are some that as they migrated and they are here, or others are already here. These are land spirits. You see? So idlozi alina, we say ancestors does not have a particular space where you want to own them. You cannot own spirits. We can't own spirits, okay? We can't, they don't have a boundary. They don't know about these borders that it's Mozambique, Swaziland, whatever. They don't know that. Amadlozi doesn't know that. They don't. They only know spirits. Abantwana babo. Whether ule or ugupi, we are all one. Africa is just one. So it's a one continent. It's one island. I call it, it's an island. It depends where we want to go because it's surrounded by water. So for the fact that it's surrounded in amalwandle. We've got on the east, as I was calling upon the spirit of the east on the rising side, there's an ocean. Where it sets, there's an ocean. On the south, there are two oceans where they are meeting in South Africa. There is the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. They're calling them like that, but we've got two oceans that are meeting. On the north, we've got other ocean as well. So we are just ocean. So why do you think we have water spirits? Why do you think we are bothered, all of us, by these water spirits that we forgot, that we call them demons, that we call them evil, that we call them kingdoms? I don't know what people are calling this, our ancestors, but they are calling them with shocking names, but it's fine. I'm not speaking about that. So this is what you need when you communicate. If you communicate outside others, you need itans. This is itans. This is an African mat. They call it, it's a mat, but well, it's fine. It's an ancestral mat, but we call it itans. This is itans. I think you can see itans. Itans, these are plants. These are plants that comes from the water. These are water plants. Okay. These are water plants. This is itena. Itena lady. So itena, you'll see it. It's the one that they use for umchanyelo as well. The one that they use for sweeping. This is the one. Itena. We call it itena. This one. So you'll need this mat, itansi, to sit down. You know, because sometimes it may be difficult. So you'll need itans. Okay. So now, if let's say I'm not in the yard, someone will ask to say, but I don't have a shrine, or I don't have a sacred space dedicated for my ancestors, then I would say just go outside. Find a sacred space outside. Whether you go to an old tree, whether you go close to the water, it depends on where you want to go. But what is important is for you to communicate with your ancestors. That one is important. When it happens that I need to go to the river, like tomorrow morning, I'm going to the river. So I would have imal. This is money. This is money, okay? This is money. You have imali emhlophe. This is imali emhlophe. It's silver, or where it's silver, I don't know. But they call it, we call it imali emhlophe. Different sizes of imali emhlophe. You'll also have this money. This is money. This is wealth. This is money. This is our ancient money. A kori. We call it imbamba. It's the one that we put it here, or we put it differently. So this imbamba, normally when I go to the spirits, I take seven of them, okay? And I will ensure that I take coins, whether it's the smallest, we used to have 5 cents that are this size, but we no longer have silver 5 cent like this. In South Africa, we have 1 rand, that you may use, because this draws energy. These can draw energy. Silver draws energy. They've got a way of trapping energy and bring it down. Okay, so you've got this that can trap energy, but also you have money to go and give as an offering, to ask for a space, to ask the gods and the goddesses that resides in different spaces where you are going to communicate with them. Okay, so you would need this money. Okay, I normally take 7 coins of different sizes. I normally take 7 of Corey's different sizes as well. I take 7 Corey's of different sizes. Others are smaller, 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 smaller. So I ensure that I take 7 of different size. Then I take different coins of different sizes, ranging from 5 rand, 2 rand, 1 rand. Unfortunately, this is what we have, but they're supposed to be 7. I'm not sure who in you how many, but for me, I normally take this 7, because I recognize the 7 spirits. So now, what I also take, it's the hot drink. It is important when we do our prayers, we have hot drinks, because this is what our ancestors, people will say, no, we never had hot drinks in Africa and all that. No, our ancestors, when known, they knew how to make hot drinks. Itotot, we call it like that in South Africa. I grew up from a place of brewing. We brew umkomboti and we sold umkomboti in my home, imbamba, whatever that you want to tell. But there was a point where they would brew utotot. It said so that spirit, it's 100% pure spirit that they used to do at that time, but they were arrested and they were never allowed to brew that, and they would call it ukavini, something like that. I grew up to, in around that time, where utwala was to be hidden underground. So I grew up in the place that was brewing utwala. So I know about utwala. Welcome, Langalamanjali. You are warmly welcome to this space. I'm talking about communicating with ancestors, part 1. It's a part 1. I'm showing you what items do we need when you communicate with ancestors. What I'm sharing, it's what I, Ufihliwe Wakambele, do in communicating with my own ancestors. I'm not saying your way, it's not right. Your way may be right, but it's right the way you do it, But I'm saying it's important that we communicate with ourselves as spirits, with yourself as a spirit, with other spirits. There's nothing wrong. You cannot not communicate with spirits, guys. You cannot. You cannot. There's something that you are missing. They may have visited you yesterday and telling you, today you need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Others have been given lotto. Thanks for those that get lotto when they are asleep, because they are visited by their spirit. There's a lot of things and gifts. Sometimes they visit and box us. We falter in many ways. We do mistakes. It's fine. But we are learning as they learn. But others, they are learned spirits. They are creatures that you will meet. And you see, so when you meet these creatures, you mustn't be afraid. These are creatures that live in our land. They visit you. You may be coming from an ocean kingdom, or any water body kingdom where you are coming from. Guys, there are different kingdoms. Don't think that we only have this world, a physical world. No, we've got dimensions and dimensions of places where ancestors are residing. Others may be on the upper area. Others may be on the soil, but they do come up and visit us. They do come up and tell us things. They do come up and forewarn us because they know. How do you know when things are about to happen to you? How do you know that tomorrow there will be something bad that is going to happen? Don't go. They would have visited you and you say, it's just that my thinking, I'm thinking like this, and someone one think, and boom, you get into trouble. Whom are you asking? Because your spirit told you, your spirit guides told you, your ancestors told you that don't go that way. Okay? So, as I was saying, it is important that we understand that we had spirits as well. We are not borrowing spirits from anyone that we did not know how to make spirits, how do not know how to make wine. There's a particular wine that I always love, more especially from our brothers and sisters from our kinship that are coming from the West Africa, for keeping up with how you make this wine, the palm wine. I love palm wine, guys. I love it. They made it out of pine. It used to be made in our land. If you go back in researching our history, you find that they had a way of doing it. But because, as you would know, there was a law that was passed that if you have any alcohol, you have to be arrested. If you will remember that, they would used to come in our home and check. But I'm telling you, in my home, we're selling alcohol. We're selling that spirit. We're selling spirits. So you'll also need a spirit. You'll also need a hot spirit to patha, to communicate with your ancestors. How do I do it? Normally, in how I do it, because the water will be in the dish, I would have water and I would have the spirit. I would start with water first. I would start with water. I would drink it and pour it in different, in four junction, okay? And I would put it down again, maybe 1, 2, 3. It's, if you count, it's almost 7, okay? So I will start pouring it left or right and left. I use both hands, not because I'm a twin, but because of spirits. You've got your maternal spirits, you've got your paternal spirit. So I'll pour this one for my paternal spirits, then I'll also tell this. And I would call upon the land spirits to come and drink water. It will be something that I say in whatever that I would want to say, that I'm telling them how I slept, how did they sleep, because I can't drink water when my spirits are not drinking water. I've got a guiding spirit that is guiding me. I've got ancestors that are sitting with me, that are with me every time. So I've been favored to be here. I can't be here if they're not here. I'm here because they wanted me to be here. They visioned me, they requested that I should be here, like you. They asked for you to be here. You are not a mistake. They've asked for you to come here, all of us. So I ensure that they drink. I pour right and speak to them, and I call upon my father's side, and I would say, if you do not know them, say you call upon from abo auntie, obabncane, obabukulu, edlozini lakhabo baba elikwaziyo. Uliyalibiza idlozi elingaziyo, the spirit of my father that I may not know. You know me, I am your child. You call upon them. I'm calling upon you. I am called, because the name that they are calling us, it's not the name that we have. We've got names that are hidden, that are only of our name, that are known by our spirits. You have not connected with your name. That's why sometimes you don't know who you are. They may call you your spirit, but you don't know who your name is. And they're calling you because they want to speak to you. So I also pour on my left-hand side. I'll call the name that from my mother's side, they named me with. Because I've got a name that I was named from my mother's side and from my father's side. So I call upon those names. And the name that I was given as a slavery name, which is Sheila. Sheila is not my name. I've got my mother's side name. I've got my father's side name. So I'll call upon and pouring up this. And I'll call to say, Nina bagomalume, o mamncane, o mamkhulu. I would call all upon them and call them and say, if I may, and I'll call then the surnames of this side, of my maternal side. I would have called the spirit, the surnames of my paternal side, all of them, the one that I know. To an extent that because of the knowledge, because remember I say, I knew this when I was 5, because I grew up being sick. So I constantly was exposed that I need to use incense. I used to do what, and I knew whom to call at that time when I'm in danger. I knew who, who's me, in their understanding, without knowing that as the time goes, I will further found who I am and who's guiding me, besides the 2 families that I chose. Remember, you chose these families, but there's this spirit that I'm going with that is constantly with me. When I drink water, when you drink water, I would also pour to my spirit and say, now a month. You know, I'm pouring for my spirit. I drink and I'm pouring. You know, that is why you'd see in your, I'm not sure whether it's happening in your space where your older people are doing that, the older generation, you know, where when they would speak, even if they would, those that are doing sniff, if they take sniff and sniff, I I won't take it because I don't take sniff. So they would put the sniff and they would put it down as well. So I don't put that like with mine. I put it on my shoulders every morning. I put mine on my shoulders and on my head and at the back for my ancestors that are at the back and those that are on the front on my sides and all that. That's how I do mine. I don't know how you do yours. We also, because we no longer have, there's a spirit that you always had that we use that was coming from Mozambique. For those that abatwase isindao. So there's Ivinho. They call it Ivinho. We call it Ivinho. I grew up knowing it Ivinho. It was a drink that comes from, you know, it comes from Mozambique, that drink, because it was made there. But I see it's no longer on the market and we are struggling a bit. It's a wine that they are using as well for Amandau as they come on the other side. So I'll use this one. This is the wine. It's a wine. It's a red wine. Woo! It's a red wine. Okay. It's, you don't have to take much. Just take a bit, you know, just a bit of it. You know, just a bit. Mm, yeah. A bit of it and a bit you put it down. Okay. It depends on but just a bit, because you're not drinking to get drunk. Guys, you're drinking to communicate. So you're just showing them that iyaphuzwa lento, then enye uyiphuze phansi, uyithele phansi. It's very dry, it's a dry wine. So it depends, as I said, that it will depend on why you want to communicate with your ancestors. What is it that you want to tell them? There are a lot of things that we want to tell them. You may want to tell them to clarify a dream that you had, you know, that you had in a soup. So you go to your sacred place. You may not go to a shrine that is as big as my shrine, maybe, but in a small space, you have to dedicate this space. This space is a holy space, guys. You don't dedicate a space where you have sex, where you insult people, where you talk evil. You can't create a space like that. You're not supposed to have that. A shrine or an altar, it's a clean, pure clean. It's a clean thing. No sex, no evil spirit, no evil thing. You can't get there. You can't do those things. So when you create your shrine, ensure that you create in a very dedicated space. If you are staying in one's compound, it is unfortunate. But try by all means to say, normally I'm struggling to say abahlala emarumini mebafuna ukuphahla, how are they going to do it? Because in the compound where you stay, there's already ancestors of that space, and you are a umqashi, a border, you are just renting, you know, that we are uhlala laphaya. How do you communicate? So normally I would advise them to say, you know, rather go outside, because outside your spirits, you are a spirit, so you have your spirit. So to avoid the confrontation, someone says, why are you doing that in my house now? Why are you bringing incense in my house? Maybe they don't believe in incense and all that, you know? So it becomes a problem. So for you, nature is there because you are a nature yourself. So communicate with yourself in a space where it's comfortable, in a space where you will be able to communicate and commune and understand and unleash the energies so that you are able to draw the energies that you are asking for. Okay, so I have alluded on things that I use. I said it depends on what I am talking about. What is it that I want to communicate with my ancestors about? For me, communication, it does happen every day. I don't have a particular time. It's my life. It's my thing. You know, I'm not sure with others. Others, they communicate with their ancestors maybe once a week, once a month, once a year, or they forgot after 10 years. Or when things are bad, then they start thinking that we have to communicate with ancestors. It is a prayer that I do, but my prayer, it's an indigenous prayer. I'm doing African prayers, indigenous African prayer That's what I do every day. It is a life, it's a life, but it's me. You know, when I did not do it, I find it's not right, because I need to communicate with animals as well. I've got chickens, as I said. I've got chickens and they're birds. They're making noise. They're shouting to say, when are you communicating with us? Because I feed birds in the morning as well. Okay, so because tomorrow I'm going to, as I said, that tomorrow morning I'm going to the river. So first thing around 5 o'clock, waking up, I'll take my bath quickly, but I will be awake, I think, around 4:30, so that when the sun rises, I should be on the stream, because there's a particular thing that I'm requesting, So I'm meeting up with the goddesses and the gods of the land at that time, when the sun rises in the morning. So what I will be having tomorrow, I'm already preparing, So this you would have in your shrine. So I have this, this is fruits, mixed fruits. Sometimes you found them in mixed the way. I don't know where you're from, but because I'm going to ask for a favor. I'm going to ask on behalf of the land again. So I'm asking the land spirits to assist us on a thing that is bothering me. So I carry these fruits. See these bananas, oranges, and whatsoever that I'm taking to the river in the morning. I'm also taking the money, as I showed you, that this money is going to the river. This one will be left in the river. So I'm taking it to the river, because I'll be waking up in the morning and going and doing the prayers, and asking on behalf of the land on what I need to do. I'm showing you this on one would ask, why are you showing us this? People are suffering. It is a fact. People are suffering. People do not know what they need to do. People don't know how things that they can use, at least to ease them, to move the pressure. People have forgotten that they are spirits. You are a spirit yourself. You need to communicate with your spirits. For you to be here, it should dawn in your mind that you have been called to be here. You have been called and you are accompanied with other spirits. You may have been in the previous year a king. You may have been a queen. You may have been something different, a doctor. You may have been a lawyer. These things were always there. I mean, if you would read the history of Africa, to say Africa is the first continent, it's the first land, Africa is the first land to have a university. Temples were used as a teaching space. You were taught by healers like me to do things. You are taught by priests. You call them priests. We call them, because you have to learn 7 levels. And the first level that you have to learn, it's knowing yourself, knowing the spirits, knowing the kings and the queens of the land, knowing the gods and the goddesses of this land, knowing so many things. That is level 1. That may have taken you not even 1 year, because the whole seven modules that you have to go through, these are books that were written, 42 books that you have to go through to learn about what I know. It takes longer. It may have been taken 4 years just to be initiated, 4 years to learn. You learn maths. Remember that we do maths in traditional healing or traditional practices and spirituality. We do mathematics a lot because we deal with medicine. People may say whatever that they say. Roy Sunset, you say sunrise and sunset is called Suda. Well, it depends on the language, what you call it, Roy. Abanye bangathi kusenthatha kusa, abanye bathi ilanga melisukuma. Like a Congo, yes, they say it's Kala, Ekaleni, it's the rising of the sun. So it depends on the language that we talk. Others may say different spaces. It's never wrong. It's never wrong. In your understanding, it's fine. This is how you call it. And in Congo, if you use the Congo cosmology, yes, they call it Kala. It's the East. And in the ancient Egypt, in the ancient Kemet, they call it Kapera in the ancient. It depends on the language, on what we use, what we say at the time. Mina ngikhule ngesiZulu, ngikhule ngesiXhosa, ngikhule with many languages of South Africa, okay? But I still understand in different languages of Africa, what do they call it? When is ilanga liphakama. Angithi, uma ilanga liphakama, bathi ilanga liyaphakama, it depends what time, because lingaphakama ngo-3, abantu bathi kusentatha kusa. Liyathathela ukusa, meaning the sun, we are aware it's rising. Kusempondo zankomo, around 4 in that time, the sun is already out, but we don't see it. It's out, but it's coming up, it's rising. Remember, the sun get to be born at 12 o'clock, 12 noon, 12 midnight. The sun, as soon as it starts rising from that time, we say in the middle of the sun, because it's shifting to another time. So it starts coming up a bit and a bit, even if you may not know or see, but we say it's already starting because it has moved from Musomi. It has moved from Somi. You would know what I'm saying, Roy. I'm speaking about where my ancestors are coming from the Congo space, you know? So they will tell you that time, it's when the time is shifted from the other to the other, but the sun, it starts to move, okay? It will come out at Kala. Moli tati litwanteng lantla. Kala, it's lantla. Kala, it's the rising of the sun, where the sun rises, where we see it now to say the sun has risen. You know, others, because of time, in winter, you can see it at 6 because it's a little bit far away. But now, around 5 o'clock, it's up. If you are mapping the sun and the moon, you know, the time is not the same. What would you say about these times? May I not get into that because I want to deal about what I'm talking about, the communication of the spirit. The time that you're talking about, I would not use the 5:30 or 3:30 because okay, and I trained initiates. So the time of idlozi is quite important. I would tell you that how important was time for me and one of the Mutua family and Mutua child to bury Ubab Mutua with 3 o'clock in the morning. If we did not know, we could have made a mistake to bury him at another time. But a time was given, not by him. It came that he has to be buried at 3 o'clock, 3 in the morning, right in the morning. You ask how we did that, how we knew. So that's why I'm saying I would not talk about after 3, because when you say 3:30, it has already moved for us. You know, it moved to another time. But the time that we use 12 o'clock, midnight, 000, that's zeros. We use either 3 o'clock in this space, in this Mpemba, in the space, there's Mpemba Institute of African Spirituality, of African Healing and Spirituality. We use 3 o'clock. It's the first time where I take a drum and drum it myself. I wake up around 2 because I've got children here. By 3 o'clock, exactly 3 o'clock, not half past, half past, it's delayed. Exactly 3 o'clock when the sun moves up like this. So at that time, li move, li sukile kumsomi to that. So they call upon the spirit of the water because spirits are already moving. But at that time, the water spirits are moving. That's a Mpemba spirits. If you are following the Congo cosmology or the ancient African ways on how they used to do things, that time between 6 o'clock in the evening to 6 o'clock in the morning, they call it Mpemba. It's a dark space. It's the very, very highly volatile space of energy of ancestors. It is dark. It's labeled in the dark area. It's labeled dark. Hence, you'll find people wearing black beads. These black beads means the highly spirited one. Color black is the most highest spiritual color that you could have. And it is the color of the feminine. It's a feminine spirit. This because it's in the land where it's the water time. It's the water spirits that are dwelling on that time. It's when everyone is being visited by mothers. And it's when we say the sun is also, because at 6 o'clock it goes to the mother. So we say the sun is it went back to the mothers and it tells the mothers on what we have said, what we are saying now. But that is why you find the water rising up. So we say it gets cleansed as well and nourished so that when it comes up, it comes in the morning and taking a new dawn, you know, a new day. But when it goes down, Mother Moon goes up, or great Mother Moon stands up. That is water. So it is an indication of the time to say it's a dark time. Now it's a spiritual time. When the moon appears at 6 o'clock and the sunset knows that at that time, all of us were in the spiritual time. Most of the accidents may happen at that time because people get dazed, more especially that those ones that are highly charged with energy. So they get this visitation now and then. They get this visitation, okay, of ancestors. But 3 o'clock here, 3 o'clock as a correct time here where we say Sivusidlos Lumdao. Then I will be doing the water spirit exactly 3 o'clock. Those that knows because I'm doing from my Owasamaputu. I don't know Omnyumdao. I know Umdawasamaputu. So they will be doing. Hence, they are not speaking. They are closing their mouth and they are down on the level of the ancestors, right inside the water. So it is the water time. So we do that Mkulu at 3 o'clock, and it goes. It depends on what we do, because I also teach them how to femba during that time. So it may be prolonged, but we are wary of saying by 5 o'clock we'll be finished. I'm telling you, we don't even go to half past 6, because half past 5, because at that time we're already ready to come out to welcome the sun, to do our 42 laws of Ma'at as it was done in the ancient time. So we ensure that how we finish, where we put at 6 o'clock, everyone is finished. This is 12 to 6. So this 90 degrees time that is happening, we ensure that these energies have been adhered for and this space has been adhered for. Okay, so we do that. We then welcome the sun. No one speaks to anyone. I'm telling you, we will only speak to each other when I start speaking after 6. Then when I start engaging them on the earthy engagement. But before that, it's that time at 3 o'clock, we do umdao strictly. 3 o'clock, not minute after 3. 3 o'clock, they set themselves ready 15 minutes before, because they need to meditate and to draw the water spirit, to draw the kingdom, to draw Amandao, to draw Mami Awada, to draw all these energies, to draw all the ancestors, because I may have hidden something that they need to find. The only way to find is for them to femba, because when they would femba, then it will be a song that I sing, which is known for those that have gone through this initiation, that when you start, we say, so they need to do that. And when they send their goodbyes, it is the goodbyes. Immediately, when they did that, they would then quickly, because it's time, we are not slow, they would say quickly jump to Umguni, because we also have Umguni. Now, because we are preparing for the red spirit, it's a masculine spirit. This is the sun. It's a masculine spirit. So they're getting ready to the masculine spirit. They're getting ready for Kapera. They're getting ready for Kala. It's that masculine spirit. It's a shifting from Kala, because the color of Kala is black. It still shows under this way, but because of that line that is between the two worlds, the black land and the red land, so we need to ensure that when we start the sun comes, we're already almost done, because we need to welcome the sun. So they will do the umgun, but they don't stand up because it's still in the morning. So we do it pants. So they will pants. Those that have gone through umgun waseswazini, umgun wasempumalanga, they would know what I'm talking about. Those that wear imfiso like I wear intochoviane and this red, because this is water. This red, blue and white, and this red, it's water. It's water, and this is the masculine spirit. This is a feminine spirit, blue and white. Mami water, Yemaya, these are the colors that we use here. But for Oshun, it's yellow and white. It's because of the time of, in Congo, they would say it's the time of Musom. It's that color that they use. So they would be preparing themselves for Umgun. But we are pacing time that they should be finished eating, because when they do umdao, they also eat in the morning. As they come out, there's something that they eat. So I give them food in the morning, the spirits, through you. whomever that I'm initiating, at the particular time when I'm doing umgun, they will also have to eat whatever that I'm giving them, that spirits that are eating, that are asking for what they're asking for. Okay, so when we finish, it will be around 5 o'clock. The sun, it depends whether it's winter or whether it's summer. In winter, we also have an hour, if it's not 2 hours or 1.5 hours. We have an hour quickly that will go on the bones to look at what the bones are saying and for them to understand what bones are. Warmly welcome, Lisedi, just to teach them, to show them what bones are, what the energies of the bones are saying. If one has something to ask, then it's when we divine and see how the bones are sitting, and I teach them one by one what this is saying. When they meet like this, what they are saying, that whatever the angle that is meeting. So it is an hour. After that, it's a back-to-back thing that we do in the morning. Since 2:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, it will be 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, they one-on-one, they need to do their libation. They need to now to speak to welcome the sun. Do the 42 laws of Ma'at to ground them for the whole day now, because Father Sun is coming up. The land of the physic is coming up. Luvenga is coming up. You should know that. Luvenga is coming up. This is the time of the Ra. Ra will be then seen moving like that. So we use this time in Kulu in understanding what we do. We'll ensure that by at least by 7, sometimes it takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, after 6 they're finished so that they go and bath, you know, and we do whatever that we do, and yeah, we can then start speaking. We then start speaking. Kunjan, how did you sleep? And so forth, because that was the time of the ancestors. But when it comes at 9 o'clock, 9 in the morning, we stop again. Actually, stop 8:30, because 9, they have to be greeting the sun. So 9, they will have to greet the sun. They have to go and eat for the spirits. You know that they're half naked, with a red skirt. So they have to rush and go and take and shai pudlu. Togoza mkulu lisedi womlu welcome badly. From there, bahoshe, because tina sitwasi sindao. So they need to eat again, but ngokhosha. They need to do that. Okay? When they finish, it's 9. It's almost before 9, because 9 o'clock sharp, they have to say, we're saying the sun is coming, is rising. We can see it here now. It's moving. You know, so they talk about the sun, then we welcome the sun again at that time. It depends whether I'm hiding things, because I can hide things and see whether they will find them. They will do that. It will go an hour and a half. By the time they finish, it's almost past 10 to 11, and they've got short time to deal with themselves in whatever thing they do. 12 noon. 12 noon, we all zoom, went quiet. We all go quiet, 12 noon in this yard. It depends on the level of intwaso butugupi. For those abasenkanin, at 12 o'clock, they will be directly communicating with the ancestors at that time. But they would have started before, you know, because they prepare themselves to go and eat again and do whatever that they need to do. Because at 12 o'clock, I want to beat the drum. I want to beat the drum. And I want to be speaking to them, the ancestors. I may be hiding something, but I just need to speak to them. So Shem, they will dance. It's a very hectic schedule. When they finish, we wait for 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, because we had 3 o'clock in the morning, we wait another 3 o'clock. These lines can never not cross. They need to cross. Because if you have spoken to ancestors in the morning at 12 o'clock, in the midnight, 12 o'clock during the day, that line crosses in you. Still speak to your ancestors if you have done it at 12 midnight. Do it at 12 noon so that you conclude the speaking. You have not finished. If you have done it at 3 o'clock, do it at 3 o'clock, because that's line. These energies are crossing like this. You know, there's that energy. They're crossing, they're vertical to each other. You know, they're speaking like September will speak to March. June will speak to December. Yeah? It's like that. It's like that. You can't falter African spirituality. You cannot falter it. It is like that, unless something I don't know. In this almost 35 years, understanding spirituality and being initiated, you know, in different spaces, in different time. And maybe there's something that I may not know, but I'm telling you what I know. So they will then bow down at 3 o'clock and telling the sun that they are ensuring that iyolala sitting lalisintavanela. So if maybe because of being tired of whatever, but they would ensure that it's either by a pasha, they communicate with ancestors. There's a lot of things. It will depend whether to buy a floor or whether it depends. So, but they would ensure that they still, acknowledge the 3 o'clock that the sun is going down. If you are observant, you would understand that at 3 o'clock, the sound of the air around us, it differs. It will tell you that it's 3 o'clock, how it sounds. If you are so observant in understanding time, when you listen, it will tell you what time is it without looking to say, oh, this sound is 3 o'clock. Now these cars are sounding like this is 3 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock. You will understand those things. Naturally, it's like that. We are spirits, we know these things. If it's when it's 6 o'clock, no one goes outside. Gates are locked. I don't consult after 6 because spirits, they're taking their break to me here. We say it's 6 o'clock, there's a shift. The sun goes back to the mother, zoom, and the mothers are taking over. The moon is up. So we ensure that as it goes down like that, then at 9 o'clock, at least they should be relaxed. At least I request of them to go and just relax. They can sleep because I sleep late. They must not wait for me because they've got their own space on the other space. I would not hold abantwana babantu. I've been told before that noon is not for family people. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm telling you about what I know. For family people, they should have told you why they are saying, Roy, it's not for family people. I don't know what family, which family are they talking about, because we are family. How to define family? What kind of a family? Because for those that have water spirit, it is a time that we partake in praying, in doing things, whether you are cleansing yourself, it depends. Because there will be rituals that needs to be done at a particular time. So I may not get into that. I don't know. I was just showing you how we manage time. So I hope I made you understand how I understand time. I do not understand the half time. I understand the fullness of time as it moves around the clock. In a way, it moves the way we understand it. So I may not understanding what you are asking me. I'm understanding how I've been initiated. And as I said, that I come from the space of healers. In all this more than 35 years being who I am, it's what I know and what I've seen at home happening. Nomthandazo, you are welcome, Sisi. You are warmly welcome, all of you. Those that I'm adding you to view. I don't know. Yes, and I'm not sure whether you want to participate because I've opened your view. Okay. Yes. So I did that. I've started first with that. I showed you how I call upon my ancestors and all that as part 1. I showed you the items that I use in speaking to the ancestors. I showed you the incense, what I use in pepper. There's different pepper. There's different plants. This is a plant. This is a good plant, medicinally so. For now, it is good as well for respiratory. It's good because it has an antiviral effect. But I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's good. It's good for cough. It's good for a lot of things. So you just chew it. Yeah, you just eat it. It's very bitter, but you eat it like that. Take a small and eat it. It's very bitter. Just chew it as you keep on chewing it. You can boil it. I boil it with other plants to drink. You can boil it and wash with it. You can boil and steam with it. It depends on what's the problem at that time, but it is highly medicinal. These are indigenous plants of our land that God gave us to use. So there are different mpepha. There's mpepha, this one. There's inkondlwane. Inkondlwane is whitish in color. It's for twins. We use it for twin spirits. It's whitish in color. We call it inkondlwane. Most abanye, because they may not know the Nguni word, they call it Zulu word, they call it impepha mawele. So in its name, we call it inkondlwane. So you also have a one that comes close to the water. You've got the other one, ebuyentabeni, okay? And yeah, you've got different types of this, I also use one that comes from Swaziland when I do my things because of spirits that I may carry, or spirits that I have. So it depends on how ukuthi edlozini lakho bafunani. You know, it depends on how ukuthi idlozi lakho liza kanjani. But amadlozi acishe ukufana, you know, and on how we do things. It's just that one has to learn, you know, on how these things are done. Okay. So as I said that this is impepper. It's a clay pot. This is clay, you know. It's similarly to this because this is clay. This is utaga olbovu, which may have done this. You know, it depends which by bumbe ngani. Abanye we call it itengele. You know, you can put it on the fire. Sometimes it doesn't crack. It depends how strong it is. Okay, you can have some medicine that you combine with. So sometimes, like when I do my prayers in the morning, I may have impepper, like I have impepper, but also have another plant that I may put umthunzwe inkukhu. I would, yeah, yeah, I would use a plant, you know, of ancestral. It depends on what I'm doing, but I'll use a certain plant that I will put it on top for a particular reason. Whether I'm waving any negative energies or I'm sending good energies to the world, to the universe. So I use this. When you touch a plant, this plant, more especially in bed, your hands has to be clean. Not the hands to be clean because you have to be clean physically. I'm saying your hands has to be clean, meaning your hands, yourself, you have to be clean. You have to be clean. If you know that you have committed an abortion, whether you have paid for or whether we have done it, please go for cleansing. We know the reasons people go through this. I said it last time, I'm not judgmental. People have reasons why they do these things, okay? If you have committed things that you know that your ancestors or your guiding spirit may not be happy because you have committed that, please go for cleansing. Because no matter how hard you can try to communicate with your ancestors, they may not answer you. They may not answer you because you have committed something that you're not supposed to do. Go and tell them. Go and tell them. Or go esangomeni so that it's was ukukhulumela, you know. But cleanse yourself and wena ngaphakathi lakho. Be honest to yourself first as a spirit and other spirits that are surrounding you so that you are able to be at peace. When you talk, they will understand. You know, when you talk, you summon them, they will quickly come. You know, it is important that we do these things, guys. It is important. When you feel that in many a times, sometimes, let's say I've got to perform some other things. As I say, imbola, okay? We call it utaga. Utaga means clay. This comes from a water as well. It's a spirit. They're spirits. All these are spirits. So I may use to communicate with my ancestors. So I may use to communicate with ancestors. Let's say when I've already had impepayam, you know, I go in there, I have ipailam. It depends on what kind of a ipai, because you also need a cloth. So whether I have this white cloth on, or I have injiti, or I have ipalu, you know, or I have different types of animal, it will depend on the spirits that I want to communicate with. If it's just neutral because I need clarity on things, I will try to be as pure as possible. And I'll try to ensure that I have on. You see, I've just tied it now like that, so that it doesn't move. So I would put it like that, tie it in me, okay? So, but it does enable me to move around because I will put it like that at the backs so that I'm able to work. But when I start to speak, I may bring it down just to show the respect that I'm giving them the respect. So we do it like that. I'm not sure how you do it, but this is how I was taught. This is what I know. This is how I teach others in my space. what they need to do and how you do it. Okay, so what you would need in bed now in the morning, I love singing. I may be singing a song. It depends, because sometimes you wake up in the morning, they gave you a song. So I would go in the shrine, maybe I'm singing a song that I just dreamt about in the morning. Well, I dreamt about a song. I would not be singing a song that is generally to everyone. It's a song that I dream about. And I was singing it throughout the night. So I'll wake up and go. And after I'm doing my thing, I keep on myself, ensuring that I don't forget, because I need to move to the shrine. So I would have in paper lit, like I've written in paper. Then I will have ikandle. This is the fire element. This is an air element. This is a fire element. This is an air element. I need these elements to assist me. I said I normally use white color. I use white color, for purity. It depends on what I want to know. Whether if I want to know something, I may use blue. If it's because of financial crisis that I may not have I'm facing financial difficulties, of course I'll use green and white. I don't leave white behind. And I may also use yellow. Oh, okay. I use also yellow, because yellow it is a feminine spirit as well. So I would use that. It depends on how I combine them. It depends on how I combine these plants. Okay. So I would take udako lumhlophe. This is Mpemba. In Congo cosmology, I said I've got a lineage from Congo, so I may understand Congo and Yoruba is very, very, very well, guys, because I've made my research. I've been sent to these lands to learn. So I will have this. In Igbo they call it Nzu. Now we call it Utagolbovu. Babang by Bitsakama Bitswamang. It's not wrong. In different areas, it may not be round as like this, because they have it. They've created a female and a male. It's okay. But at the end of the day, these are the plants that you use. They may not be using incense. It's just that here we use incense. Okay. So I would then ensure that I speak to my ancestors. Remember that I'm from the Mpemba family, which means the land of the ancestors. Mpemba just means the land of the ancestors. That black time from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning, it's the land of the ancestors. It's the land of Mpemba. Not that I'm owning that, I'm saying it's the land of my ancestors, but I'm saying all of us. But we call it Mpemba, as my institution is Mpemba, MPA, Mpemba, meaning the land of the ancestors, the land of the bones, the land of the white chalk. Okay, so the land of the spirit. So I will use it in communicating. I'm crushing it, but I'm crushing it a bit and a bit. So I'll be speaking whatever that I'm speaking. So when you use this, your heart has to be pure. Your heart has to be pure. Your hands has to be pure, because now I'm assigning the gods. I'm assigning the ancestors. I'm assigning purity to come, because I need to speak to them. So it depends on what you do. I may put it around me, all of it, it depends. But I will then start to do on top of the Simbep. So I will continuously speaking. That's how I speak. And I'll speak in whatever that I'm speaking. Let's say I'm asking for when there was no rain. So you're asking, what have we done, to the spirit? What have we done? You call upon the spirit of the clay, meaning I may call upon the water spirits. I may call upon the spirits known to me or unknown, those that have come forth. I'll call upon them and ask them to guide and show me the way. And show us the way. Yes, I accept that we may be at fault. We may have committed treason against the land. We may have created treason against the Most High. There's a lot of things that we do knowingly or unknowingly. May I ask about the use of candles and organic oil like okay, can I continue with this, Roy, please? Can you hold that? Maybe I can get that on another day, but can I continue with this? So I would do this and speak. If someone has been sick or someone may be coming and there's a crisis that we seem not to get through, you'll ask, I'm asking you to show me the way. Show me the eyes. Show me my third eye that I may not see. Show me things that I do not know. Yes, I may have faltered. I may have spoken in a way that I was not. Or you may have told me things and I could not see. Okay? So as it burns, I'm sincerely inside of me, but translating with the Mpemba or it depends on the language that you use, guys. You may not use my language, but I'm using the language that I knew. There's nothing better. We can't compete, or we can't find a space where we say yours is better than mine. There's nothing like that in spirituality. They were adapting to situations where they find themselves, where they find things to use as they move. They would use that to communicate in a way. So there is no wrong nor right, but it's just that the principle is to say, when I do it in the morning, they will be facing the east. When we do our prayers during the 12 o'clock, we face the north because the sun is here. I cannot face where the sun sets when the sun is not setting. I'm aware that the sun is above my head, is sitting right on top of my head, is right here on my ori, is right here. So I will be facing on the pyramids there. When it goes, because I'm following the sun, I'll be then on the west, follow the sun and speaking. And on my knee, we go down on my knee. It's either sometimes you would have had it in your however that you want to put it, because you are showing them as a sign of purity. Sometimes you may put it and mix it with water and pour clean water. You may pour in uvuma or whatever the plant that will assist you in drawing the favors of the ancestors. Okay, you may put plants that may draw them to favor you, to understand that you are begging, to understand that you want to communicate with them. Sometimes you are sending message to them to assist you in communicating with the Most High, because I have faltered. I have done things that I'm not supposed to have done, but because of the situation where I found myself, I have faltered. But I would not start with this. Before I would do that, I would have gone to red or just to cleanse myself before I can come to wearing the white. There are different stages how you end up wearing the white, okay? So you continue, guys, to speak. Whether the sun is setting now, you continue to speak. Not that you continue since morning until that. No, you have a break. Whether you want to fast so that they hear you. Ancestors don't want us to cry. They don't want to see our tears. They feel pain as we feel pain. In our belief, we believe that the land of the ancestors is the same as this land. They do not want us to harm each other. Neither do they want you to raise a hand and beat your mother or beat your son or beat whomever. They don't want that, because whomever that you are beating is an ancestor. Whomever that you are raising and you are insulting, it's an ancestor. You are insulting a spirit. You are not just beating me and just putting blue eyes and so forth. No, you are beating, and it's a taboo, okay? And it's an abomination to you and to the generation to come until they cleanse. That is why you talk about the generational curse. And you find that because you have beaten someone or someone has done that, then it is a continuation thing that is carried on within the family, which needs to stop. Which needs to stop. Others will find that they've used wrong muti to do whatever things that they do to others. It's wrong. It becomes an abomination that we carry to today. And maybe they brought you back to come and just stop this, that it should not happen. Maybe they brought you back so that you cleanse them. You are here because they favored you. You qualified to be here to deal with it. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. If you have the gift and they've called you to have the gift, don't waste time. Take your gift with pride. Take your gift with pride and ensure that you go for initiation. Find out which ancestor is this that you have. May you understand how they present themselves to you. Not all of us are wearing Intotovian. Intotovian is that blue and white. Not all of us are wearing that. There are those that with Amandao, which people are very scared of, which I don't know why, because these are just water spirits. And people say Amandao, they are cruel, they are that, they are that. You may say so, if you say they are cruel, but not that they are cruel. Ancestors have never been cruel. They may be cruel because they've sent you to do things and we're not doing. It's fun now. It's like you. When you've got a child and you send a child to do something, errands, and they don't do, what do? You shout them. You make sure that you punish them to get into the space where they need to go. So we are the same as well. We have been sent here to do things. So I use this then to communicate this one. If not, I have used them. I would take impub. This is impub, mili, and say to them, I'm asking them to come in. It may depend whether this is a sorghum or amabele. You know, it depends on what type of maize I'm using, whether this one or the other one. So I'll do it externally as I speak to them and then say, the smell of it. If you smell it, it smells like food around us. And I will acknowledge that this is your food that you gave us, but we do no longer have it. We are impoverished. We're asking you to ensure that the spirit of poverty no longer locates us. You know, you speak to the Most High. You speak to the gods and goddesses of the land. I speak to Unomkumbulwane, Okunjulanjalo, the Mother Earth. I speak to her every time. There's no way I can't speak to her. I speak to her and call upon her to say, I'm calling upon I'm asking you when anzalabant esahlala esibelethweni sakho ngokusivulela wena wasiletha owazi ukuthi sikhona namhlanje uthula uthini la ukhona uma usibona sihlupheka. I ask those questions. I ask ancestors those questions. We are appealing to you, the great goddess. We are appealing you. We are appealing to you. That's what we say, because these are the teachings that we learn. We're not hleli ngaphakathi emifuleni. Nina nisipha amanzi, nina nisipha ukudla, enisithethisela imvula. Akukho ukudla. Sibulawa indlala. You know, you say all things that are happening around you, and you say, can you please answer? You call upon the kings and the queens of our lands that have worked this land, and you say, we need your help. We need you to come back. We need you to come back and show us what we need to do. Where we have faltered, on behalf of yourself, you may not have been part of it, but you are part of it for being here. You know, in a spirit land, things you don't have. No, it's not me. We are all in one, because we are all spirit. And we are here guiding and assisting each other. So I'll use that. So I'll use that and that. Or what you do, I'll take ipikiri. We have this cup. It's an enamel cup as well. You know, so I will take this. It's either you take this or this, it depends. Okay, whether you take this, if you do not have this one, you can take this one. So I will take just few impupu and pour it in here, because I don't have money to make umkomboti, awuko, and they need umkomboti, they need umdogo. I do not have money. I don't, because I don't have it. Even impupu, I had to go and borrow because we don't have it. But I want to speak to our ancestors. Okay, I want some things to offer to them so that they come, you know, because they may have given me money. Warmly welcome, Kensani, and warmly welcome to all that I did not welcome. I'm so sorry. Warmly welcome, Bali. You are welcome, Mkwanas. You know, you take that, you bring water. You bring water in. I'm making utwala. We call this utwala busile. This is now a drink that they're going to drink. We call it utwala busile. It's what we are calling it. So you mix it. As you mix it, you tell them utwala benu. Utwala lo bengibenza ukuthi nikwazi ukuphuza amahewu enginenzela wona. I've taken milimili, I've taken water and just pour it here. Water is life. These come from the soil. It's a millimil that comes from the mother. So she will understand, because water is a feminine spirit. So I'm using mother, you know, to ask for favor from mother. You know, Mother Earth. I'm also using the spirit of Mother Earth, of Amans. So I will speak and speak and speak to them. It depends whether I send emsamo noma ngingaphandle. If ngingaphandle, as I speak to say, I know that you've been wanting me to do umqombothi, but I seem not to, to be able. Can you please just may the spirit of wealth, the spirit of prosperity, even if nifuna inkukhu, because sometimes you don't even have a chicken to do this. You don't have anything to do this, whatever that you need to do. So you call upon them. You call upon them. You call, then you'll sip it and put it down. Then you start speaking about it. From your father's side again, from your mother's side, I said it will depend on the space. Whether you go from the crossing where roads are meeting, in that space, because there lies different types of ancestors, because of others are east, west, north, south, others are in the center. So you go and ask for a favor to say, I'm asking to locate my ancestors, or I have not, or I have neglected my spirits. My spirit have left me. Because if your spirit leave you, guys, you have to dream about these things. If you know that your power, your spirit self, or your guiding spirit, or your ancestors are no longer with you, you will feel it that ngilula, ngiphuphe bangigijimisa, ngiphuphe izinja zingigijimisa, ngiphuphe bangivalele ejele, ngiphuphe amanzi amnyama man. There are a lot of things that you dream about that are not nice. It shows that your spirits, maybe spirits don't leave you, but they're just watching because they don't want anything. Spirit, your ancestors love you so much. They love you so much, but you don't care about them. But they're always there. They're always there. God has sent your ancestors to take care of you. And these guides, they're taking care of you. There are so many. You've got village and villages of spirits around you. That is why people sometimes, when they want to do something to you, they have to cross all these energies until they get into you. If you are favored by the spirits, guys, it's not easy people to get to you. It's not easy. But if you don't, and you live like, I'm living on my own, I don't have this, from hand to mouth, and you lose work. You lose work. You lose your income. Struggle to stand up. Where do you start? They will tell you things. We'll tell you things. Hey, you see that these bones are saying like this, and your ancestors are saying you forsake them. You did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to start to do cleansing. It costs. To buy a goat, now it costs 4,500. It's expensive. To buy a chicken, just a mere chicken, chicken almost costing 200 rand to buy chicken. It's quite expensive. Warmly welcome. You are welcome, guys. I'm speaking about the language of the ancestors. I am Isangoma. I'm the daughter of the ancestors. Ngumavulak value emzini amadoda. Ngumavulak value emzini yamathonga. Isisubathi samathonga. Mabona bulawo. Ngugonondo qobo. Uye lo mbonayo. Mntana simabheleni, that's me. You do that. Then you speak and pour it down. Utshwala busile. I've done utshwala busile here. If not, usekhaya, which I always do in the morning most of the time. It will depend on what do they want extra. Others may have amabele. Others may have seeds are different. It depends on you what they want. If those you need to know your ancestors. You need to know. Don't copy to other one. Where you do not know, there's no harm. Go and ask. Where everyone has forgotten, because others will say, hey guys, there's no house without a healer. Where there was a kingdom, there were healers, because that king or queen was advised by healers. There is no way where there was no Isangoma or a healer. And no, it may have not happened in the 5th generation that you're saying, but there was a healer. Don't make that mistake. There was. If you keep on saying there wasn't, poverty goes in, sickness goes in, that negative goes in. People lose. Hey, I've been to this way. I understand these things. I'm saying I come from that space. It's taken me years to be where I am. And I'm still going somewhere. I'm not going to stop to be Sangom. My life may be somewhere else. That's there, but I will remain as the daughter of the ancestors. When they send me, I go. where they send me. When they say, wake up and go, I go. I say, open up. Open the doors. Make it sure that it's easy for me to go and protect me where I'm going. You know, because I know when they say I'm going to that land, already the ancestors of that land are waiting for me. And I would go. There's no space that I fear in Africa. Africa, I go everywhere. Name the country, I would go. It's my home. That's where my ancestors are coming from. So I'm not afraid. Africa, this is our home. Don't be afraid of any space. And you people are telling you that this is going to happen, this is going to happen. It can happen anywhere. Okay, so I will use this one. Now I'm making food. I've used that one as uchwala seed, but I will also take water and mix with this. And in mixing, I will start then mixing it up and speaking. I'm calling upon the ancestors that are hungry. Remember, we don't feed our ancestors. South Africans, we don't feed your ancestors. Other countries does. Other nation does. You know, you look at the Chinese, you look at Islamic, you look at all of them. Hindus and everyone. You know, people are doing their things. You don't do anything. You wait and you say, I want them to give me money. I want them to give me car. I want them to give me that and that. And what are you giving them? What are you giving them when you want them? You want. What are you giving? Not giving anything to the land. You want. Doesn't work like this, guys. It doesn't work like that. This, in a spirit world, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You'll wait until you wait. You'll wait until a bit and bit mess will happen in a home. And we say that was a home, it's no longer a home, but people are residing in that house. So you did that. You do that and do that. And as you speak, you can sip it and show them that it's not a poison. So you sip and you put it down. You do it again and you pour in, you sip it and you take it and drop it. Normally I drop it down and I leave it there. I'll collect it the next morning. I don't collect it same day. I just leave it there, you know, and just leave there and wait for them to come and eat. Whilst I'm doing that, I will then maybe see I have used water. Remember, I've given them water. I've also drink water. So there's a lot of things that you drink. You should be ready when you do these things. So then put your wine down. You tell them from the left-hand side. You call upon them, you ask him. These are people that have been, no, you're talking about royalty now. Royalty, talk about royalty. Talking about royalty now. Say, your ancestors, this and this and this. You're telling them, I'm taking the spirit, just a shot. I don't know, they call it a shot. It's a shot, eh? Yeah. I know it's not nice. It's nice for those that drink it. But I do it. There, you take it, you speak to them, and you speak to them, you put it down, call upon them, put it down, call upon them, you call it down, you put it down as you put it. I've just put it now. I'm putting it. So you're done. Okay? If they're children, give them sweets. They love sweets. They love cold drink. They know how to do ikhamera. They know how to do the cold drink. Not that we did not know how to do these things. They knew how to brew plants, sweet plants, to make a juice. They knew how to do that. Any questions? If one wants to ask me a question, please ask me a question relevant to this. This is what I'm trying to do, good afternoon, warmly welcome, my bishop, warmly welcome. Swazi, warmly welcome. Ngumafungwase, yes, ngumafungwase inkosazana okuzalwa, ngumabona bulawe, ngu-antu abantwana. I am being called like that. Thank you for calling for reminding that I'm an aunt, and yes, I'm the first girl from my mother's womb and my father's womb, whatever. But ngumafungwase, gufungwa gimi. You know, whomever that gave me Gonondo. The word Gonondo, I got it from Ezangomeni, the South African healers, 1 year, you know, prior to 2010. I think it was around 2008 or 27 when they raised me up in Durban and they called me Kono or Ukonondo. So I was given by Izangoma and honoring that name. So I don't know what I did, but I embraced it. I embrace that, and I still say Nyabonga, Nyabonga, Nyabonga for whatever that I did. Ngaloyo nyaga, omunyu nyaga lo. And I'm still myself, I'm still doing the work of the ancestors. Guys, I've just put imbola. You know, so I just normally put that, or just put around the face. It's either that one or this one. I use either that one or this one. Mogogo be means better. Yeah. Mogogo be seriously. I go for this one. Mogogo, I am glad. I go for this one. I'm fighting with my ancestors when I go here. I raise this energy to say, such has happened, such as whilst we are there. You could not do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Things are happening and we are not saying anything, that and that and that and that. Huh? So I use this one. It's this. These are different clays. There's a black clay as well. You know, that one we can inflame apagat. When you wear that one, yes, which gubi serious. Your ancestors know that the child is not playing. So when I wear the red one all over, yeah, they say, hey, when's in Jan Manje? What's wrong with this one? You know, I'll be crying. Maybe I'm crying for my twin, you know, because I'm a twin. So my twin may be crying somewhere and I woke up in that. Or something, I need something to happen that is leaving us, you know, because remember, guys, there are those that may be concentrating there are those that may be concentrating the land spirit. So we differ in how we do things. You know, you get exposed by your ancestors in all this on how you pray for the land. Not everyone, you know, may be able to understand this. These are ancient things that they've been happening. So there are those that stands for Isizwe Setu, that will stand up and say, not with our land, not with our land. And they will be doing their things in the way that we do our things and trying to protect this land. Africa has to live. Our generation has to live beyond our time. I'm an ancestor that will be called tomorrow. Are you going to be called? Are they going to want your spirit to come back and assist them? What is it that you are doing that will be remembered by your own lineage, by the lineage of the land? Would the spirit send you back to come and assist? I'm not ashamed to be Sangom, not ashamed to be who I am. I cross in these both spaces. When I'm on the other space, yeah, that space, I still become Isangom. I never change. I am Isangom. I bring peace. I honor other people. I'm an African, guys. Don't take Africa outside me or away from me. I only know how things were done by our ancestors, by our Most High. You know, I worship the Most High. I worship the Most High. I honor my ancestors, the gods of our land. I have an altar that I do those things. Okay? You can ask any questions if you want to ask, unless you say it has been a long way. Any questions if you want to ask, I will answer you. Any questions if you want to ask? Answer you. So that's the story, number one, of communicating with our ancestors. That's the story of communicating with ancestors. But you need an altar to do that. I'll be doing a full moon ritual like I did last time. The full moon is on Wednesday, the coming Wednesday. It's the 20th. It is on Wednesday. The moon will be full. We are getting there. It will be a full moon on Wednesday. So those that you are watching the stars, watching the sky, and watching ancestors, how they move, how gods are crossing by. So we are in tune to that space, you know. So it's better if you communicate with these spirits during also that time. It's the time, those that are Bangoma, the ones that are spiritually called as healers, it's the right time to cleanse your bones, take out all the negative energies in those bones, clean your bag and recharge it. It is the correct time when the moon is full. I'll be doing that ritual to ensure that for those that do not know, there's something that is called moon water, which is very good moon water for you, for your health, for you, for cleansing yourself to be well. It's a very good thing to do. It's very good to do that bathing as well, and ensuring that you are bathing, you know. It's very good. Any questions? No questions. You don't have questions. I know that you can't call. You can only write, then I can only answer. Relevantly only to this specific topic that I've decided to assist you. For those that have been asking, how do we do uphahla? So it's just that I'm sitting. The next time I'm going to show you how you establish then your altar. But remember that you have to have these items that I've mentioned. You have to have impepha yako. You have to have, like I have impepha, I use it as an energy. I use it as a water, as an air spirit. But impepha, for those that read the Bible, it has been mentioned in Exodus 30. I've studied biblical studies at school for many years. I've initiated as faith healer. When I ran away from Ubungoma, the first thing that I had to do was to go Ugyobo Profit for 1.5 years being taught on what do I do. How do I wear spiga, idugu, what do I do and all this? How do I use candle? How do I pray for candles and all that? And how do I divine using water? You know, I was taught, I got initiated in that space prior to go and become Isangoma that I am. And when I went to Sangomen, I was initiated as Isangoma, Umguni and Umdao. But I've started with the faith healing, which I still do for those that wants to do the faith healing. But I'm just showing you how we pray. Others may not using candles. There are those that don't use candles, but I use candles. You know, I use white candles. Only when there's difficulties, then I will go and use whether the red candle, you know, or the green candle when I would want, which bakanyise pelimali. So I'll use that. When I need to understand better things, I may use blue. You know, sometimes I may use blue, yellow, mixing them, blue, yellow, white. You know, when I want to go emanzini and mix these colors as they come out and go and talk about. I may use water. You know, I may use water with salt, or I may use water with other minerals because when I'm using imikando, also, as I said, that it took me 1.5 years to go through that initiation. So it's part of one of the initiations that I had to go through over time, you know, in my life. I think I did that. When was it? I think it was around 1997, if I'm not mistaken. You know, yeah, I had to go and do that as well. But I was coming from that space because the isondo engangambagulo, it was isonto prophet, you know, ekaya, because I was a sick person, so I was assigned to a prophetic space so that I deal with the energies and the spirits that were bothering me at the time and learn. And it happens that my the other one was a prophet, which I grew up in that house, and Sangoma as well. I grew up in the other Sangomas as well. So I grew up in that space and knowing these things, guys. If you don't have any questions, it will be safe to say thank you for staying here. Thank you for listening. I hope I was of help where I have helped you, where I have faltered, pardon me, it was not my aim. Maybe it was whatever time, but I know that I get this excited energies that happens in me when I start touching things, you know, spirits thing, because all what I've touched, you could tell I was dealing with nature only, nothing else. It was only nature that I used. I use plants, I use millimil, I've used water, I've used spirit. These are plants, I've used candle. It's only nature that I had to deal with, okay? And in communicating with nature being our ancestors, our spirits, you know, our ancestors, our orishas, our deities, the Most High. As I sum up and close without taking your Saturday away from you. I know that I used to come on Sunday. I see the space is very flooded, so I just pull back a bit so that people, occupy those spaces because of busy things that we all do, and if I've faltered you in any way, or I did not honor what maybe you're requesting of me, I'm sorry. May I call the Spirit of the Most High, the ancestor of the land, the great ancestor, uMvelinqangi, ukhokho khokho bethu, uSomnganise, uSomandla, umdali wezulu nomhlaba. Kuloko asiphe kona, isikhathi asinikeze sona, ngobukhulu nangobubanzi bakhe. Isikhathi asiphe sona ukuthi sibe khona sikwazi ukuhlangana. Sibonge. May I also call upon, because it's a dual spirit in us, may I also call upon the spirit of uNomkhubulwane, inkosazana sezulwini, umfazi omabili amade, uncelisa ngaphesheya komfula, to have assisted us, to have given birth to us, to be here and be able to communicate their stories and teach one another on how we do things. I would like to thank the spirit of the east, the spirit of the north, of the west, of the south, and up above and below and within me and within you. These are 7 spirits that I've called upon. Said I call upon the spirit of the east, of the west, or of the north, of the west, of the south, and high above and below, and your spirit. These are 7 spirits. Imimoya isikhombisa that I'm asking for, as us being spirits as well. May where I faltered, forgive me. May all these spirits, wherever we are, wherever you are, where there are problems, where there are tough times in your families, may they locate you so that you get healed. I'm sending the energies, purest energies of hope, of kindness, of happiness, of good health, and prosperous life. All the good spirits of the water. Want to thank the spirit of ocean that I've spoken to, the goddess of ocean, the goddess of the water. I would like to thank the spirit of Yemaya, spirit of Olukun, the spirit of Apatala, the spirit of Shango, the spirit of Oya, and all other spirits that I know and I don't know. I'm calling upon them to say thank you for allowing me to have been here today and be able to talk about the knowledge, this sacred and divine knowledge. I call upon all the spirits of ancient time that have dwelt our land. I call upon the spirit of all priests and priesthoods that have dwelt in this land, in all temples known and unknown, and those that were destroyed. Locate us with more wisdom so that we are aware and know how we restore the pride of Africa. I call upon the spirit of the Amanono, Amandaramana, Amashewa, Amandi, Amanzunzu, Abalozi, Amandau, to guide us in safer space, to guide us in good space, to ensure that we bring harmony amongst ourselves first, to our families, to our community. May we be drivers of peace. May we be able to take care of ourselves first, our families, our community, and Africa as a whole. May all the spirit of gold, diamond, spirit of chrome, spirit of all our minerals locate us where they are seated. Because in our land, all places, that's where the ancestors are residing. May the spirit of the mountain, high above the shrines of our land, the spirit of the lakes, where we are faltered, where we're forgotten to honor and to ensure that we are protected, may they forgive us. May the spirit of the plants that we use, that we eat, and animals that we use, that we eat, those eat animals, and all the spirits that are guiding us and ensuring that we are protected, the spirit of the moon and the stars and the sun, to guide us as well and shine a better light. May we shine as bright as the stars of Orias. Good afternoon, Zamani, and all those that have welcomed. Good afternoon, all that are coming in. mabasizwele ubuhlungu esihamba kubo phezu kwalo mhlaba ngalesikhathi mathata erinkona maybe a thing of yesterday la sidlule khona abahlele emanzini abahanjelwe izihlobo. May our ancestors, where they are traveling, that have gone back home, may they travel with peace. May they fly the highest stars of our land. May they conquer the stars and fly above the eagle. May all the spirits be with us and visit us. For all those that don't know what they are going to eat today, those don't know where they're going to sleep, may all the spirits of the mother, I'm asking the spirit of the god and goddesses, the queens of our land, locate all these homes, locate all these orphans, locate all the widow and widowers, heal them and give them peace. May peace be upon Africa. May the rain shower us. Hula, Hairineli. That's me. Thank you. Bye-bye.